Cool. And then we just have to decide what you want to banter about.
I was going to say, my idea coming into this was Wordle.
Yes, I think we should talk about Wordle.
But this is going to post when?
Mid-March. Will Wordle still be a thing in mid-March?
Yeah, that's what I was
it will be. I barely got my word today.
So at the risk of sounding outdated by the time this episode actually drops, Alex, did you get your Wordle today?
I did. I barely got it. It was basis, and man, was that hard. I usually start with table, which helped me a bit, but yeah, I had to use all 6, so I was a little upset with my performance today.
I got 5 out of 6, which again is a little on the kind of close, but I actually sometimes stay up late enough that I answer it just after midnight, and then I log in to see how much better my friends did when they're posting their scores on Twitter or messaging us directly. I've got like 3 different places I share it now. I share it at work, I share it with some friends of mine, and then I post on Twitter.
Twitter, yeah. I was going to say, everyone in my circle posts on Twitter, so maybe I should start tweeting my scores. Maybe not today's, though.
maybe not today's.
Welcome to the Limelight podcast, your source for medical marketing news. Get insights into the latest trends, learn about groundbreaking marketing strategies, and discover the newest tools. We'll let you know what questions you should be asking and where to find the answers. All this and more brought to you by the team at Digital Limelight Media.
Today, we're going to take a deeper dive into some of the topics we've previously discussed here on the Limelight podcast.
That's right. I'm excited to bring Sam back to talk about content, and later to introduce everybody to Abby Schmidt, our lead designer. Sam, you've been on the podcast before. Welcome back.
Thanks. I'm glad to be back.
Now, we've previously talked about improving SEO and content with Jeff, and I've also had you on briefly, Sam. So now that we have a little bit more time, what's something that you use to organize content writing for SEO?
Yeah, so I'm always thinking about our search terms and keywords, and that comes into play especially when I'm organizing my content with H1s and H2s. Those titles and larger text on a page that separates sections of text out. And it's really easy to incorporate a long tail keyword, something like, what is rhinoplasty recovery like, into one of your headers. And that does 2 things. It makes it really easy for a reader to navigate a page and find exactly what they're looking for. It's also really good for SEO.
Yeah, and I want to highlight what you just said. It's good for both SEO, sort of the algorithmic side of content, and the actual reader, the audience. A lot of people think SEO is just a checklist you can run through and knock off all your boxes and you've got the best SEO, but really it is more of an art form in a lot of ways.
So SEO is a lot more human than a lot of people might assume, because it's really all about meeting what people are searching for. As a writer, we have to think about what people are actually typing into their Google search. And I, a lot of times, think of it as writing the way you would talk in terms of style.
Absolutely, yeah. As you mentioned, every writer kind of talks differently, as you say. Just like every person searching these terms on Google is a different person and has a different way of searching for things and thinking about what they want. Now, when I work on websites, so I always try to keep that audience in mind. So, Sam, how do you write content for medical practices with the audience in mind?
Yeah, so medical content can be really complex and it can be difficult to understand. But as writers, our job is to make those subjects really easy and always keep in mind that our average reader, probably doesn't have experience working in medicine and honestly doesn't want to spend too much time reading our site. So I try to use as much straightforward and conversational language as possible. And whenever those medical terms come up, always make sure that I'm defining them for the reader.
Yeah, that's a tough line to draw. And honestly, there's wiggle room between physicians who really do want that like technical medical language, but they also have to provide it to us because we're not those, we're non-doctors and we don't understand their specific techniques or tools or whatever. So it's a balance on their part, it's a balance on our part. That is an active conversation we have with clients.
When we bring on a new client, what are some of the things you're looking to understand in order to better influence your writing for them, Sam?
Yeah, there are a couple of things that I always ask during that first kickoff call with a client. The first thing that we usually touch on is tone, and I explain that as a spectrum between something very conversational and casual and something very technical. Usually clients want to fall somewhere in the middle, and that's where I usually would recommend to be as well. I'll also want to know about any specific procedures that they might specialize in or anything unique about their practice that they want to make sure to highlight, and I'll make sure to include those things in their content. Next, we would go over their typical patient or client and talk about that typical demographic that I might be writing to. Finally, I'll just ask if they have any sort of writing pet peeves that I'll need to avoid. Things like everybody has their opinion about the Oxford comma, and, I can follow any specific rule that they really prefer. That's no big deal.
It seems like the kickoff call really is this great opportunity for you as a writer to connect with the client on specific things that they want for their writing and make that really custom, in addition to making it very SEO centric. One thing that is a hard decision to make as a marketing specialist is deciding if new or extra information should be a page or a blog post. So could you help us explain what the difference is between those two?
Yeah, so the basic purpose of a blog post versus a page is going to be really different. A page is going to be the place for the most basic information about a procedure. In a blog, you'll go into much more specific details or specific questions that your audience might have. So an example might be a liposuction page might list all of the possible treatment areas for liposuction. And then after that, you can write a blog that would be all about liposuction for the neck specifically.
I see. So yeah, we should treat blog posts as a supplement to that main page content and use it as an opportunity to get deeper in the weeds on certain things, because it seems like the value of that can all route back to that main page and really build that authority, which is good.
Yeah, exactly. So blogs and pages really work together. They should literally connect in the sense that your blog should have links back to the corresponding page, but they also work together really nicely for overall SEO strategy.
Well, we're out of time today, Sam, but it is always great to talk to somebody who thinks more like I do as a writer and get your perspective on writing and the content creation process. If you want to hear more about creating optimized quality content, feel free to listen back to our pilot episode where I discussed SEO content writing with Alex. And if you know your content isn't quite working out for you and need some help, DLM is here to help analyze your existing content and create a plan for updating and expanding your website with the best practices in mind. Contact us through our website or email info@dlmconversion.com. That's info@dlmconversion.com.
If you're looking for a better way to capture leads and make a personal connection with potential patients, Digital Limelight Media has a revolutionary tool for you. Our marketing experts have developed Iris Text AI, an online tool that connects your staff to website leads through text rather than emails, fostering a closer relationship with increased conversion rates. Learn more about Iris Text AI by emailing us at info@dlmconversion.com. That's info@dlmconversion.com.
I'm excited today to spend a few minutes with Abby, our lead designer, and chat about something that I am personally fascinated by, which are kind of the ever-shifting ideals of good design. Well, Abby, we're happy to have you here since we talked with Tyler in an earlier episode and had wanted to get a deeper dive into what makes design an equally important part of the website building process when compared to content.
So to get us started, what is good design and what is bad design?
We live in a world where we're kind of inundated with design all day long. Billboards on the street or just signage from stores, it's all around us. So good design should allow you to easily digest the content that you're looking for, and it should be pleasing and should help you get not always excited about the information you're looking at, but to be able to look at it and digest it and be able to understand the point they're trying to get across easily without having to, dissect it and try to figure out what's going on. Good design should be just easy to digest information. Bad design, on the other hand, it is jarring. It will stick out to you. It'll be confusing. Sometimes people throw in too much information or too many typefaces. The colors might not be right. It doesn't allow you to understand the information easily.
So I feel like medical practices care a lot about the design of like their offices and maybe like their logo or their brochures, but it also applies pretty heavily to their websites because that's where people first interact with a medical practice, their brand and their name and everything. What would you want somebody to know about how we approach website design?
For me, the ideal website design project, we are able to start with the brand and build out the logo design, the colors, the brand voice, and that can transfer into the interior design of the practice. So that matches with the branding and bring that in through the website design so that they're all in this cohesive space that feels very familiar from one to the other. From a website design standpoint, we really want patients to go to a website and get an understanding of the practice that they are going to then walk into later on, so that the colors match, the voice of the content matches how the doctor talks to you, using photography of the practice on the website so that people really get familiar with your practice before they're even walking into your doors. A really good example we have of this is a client we've worked with recently. They were brand new. They didn't even have an office yet. And we were able to build out, we started with the brand and we worked really closely with them on that brand. And then that grew into the website. And also kind of at the same time that this was all happening, they were building out their practice. So we were able to work with the interior designer to make sure that the pieces that we were using in the website and the logo and the branding were also being carried through in the interior design. And that just helps everything feel cohesive, and it makes just this nice togetherness of the three pieces of the puzzle.
Thank you for that answer, Abby. Can you walk us through those three pieces again real quick?
Yeah, so the three pieces would be the logo and branding, the website design, and then the physical space that you're operating in.
Perfect. Thank you, Abby. And I do recall working on this project with you, and the client was, especially with the logo and design, it took a bit for us to kind of find that final look. But once we did, it really carried over to the rest of the other two, the website and the physical experience. I think they saw how that all got actualized from that initial building blocks. Well, Abby, it's clear that both Jeff and I love talking about design principles and applications. We really can't wait to have you on another episode soon, so thanks again. If you're looking for a great way to track your SEO progress in 2022 and beyond, look no further than DLM Insight, brought to you by the medical marketing experts at Digital Limelight Media. Our proprietary tool and industry connections present relevant marketing metrics in an easy-to-use dashboard.
Our team would love to show you how DLM Insight can help your practice grow in 2022. If you'd like to see a demonstration of DLM Insight, contact us today at info@dlmconversion.com. That's info@dlmconversion.com.
DLM is well into 2022 and continuing to develop new strategies to stay on top of current SEO trends. By the way, if you're looking for some easy reading material to get you started with our services or how we approach marketing, I'd recommend you check out our Q1 playbook. It's loaded with information and a lot of good stuff about the Google algorithm updates that have the potential to change the shape of online visibility for your business for months or years to come. And I also want to highlight that if you ever have any questions and want to start a conversation with our team to improve your marketing, just reach out to us at info@dlmconversion.com. Mention the podcast and we'll set you up with a specialist that can go over your web presence. And just again, that email is info@dlmconversion.com. That's info@dlmconversion.com.
Thanks for joining us on the Limelight podcast. We hope you learned something new today that adds value to your practice. Remember to talk to an expert about your specific situation before making decisions based on the information provided in this podcast. Digital Limelight Media LLC, its employees, partners, sponsors, and guests are not responsible for any action taken or not taken as a result of listening to this podcast. As always, we welcome your questions and encourage you to reach out about any of the services we offer at DLM. Have a great day.